ate hawa watu walikuja hapa. Watu walikuwa ndani ya ndege ile ni Obure ODM. Hii ni mkutano yao. Hii ni Magara ODM. Hii ni mkutano yao. Yule alikuwa ndani yake Ichage ni ODM. Hii ni mkutano yao. Mumekuisha sikia mtu ya Ford people akienda kuchafua mkutano ya ODM? Kwa nini magazeti nyinyi mnafikiria mkutano ya ODM inaweza ya Ford people inaweza kuchafuliwa? Nyinyi mtatembea na shetani na mtatuweza. Mimi sitabia. I don't want your coverage. I don't want your coverage. That we know where the people are. You think you are so superior, you can report any rubbish and the Kenyans can listen. We are not going to listen to you. Sasa hivi, wacha sikia. Sasa hivi, what your newspapers, let me tell you this. Have you checked with the police? Ile pastora walikamata huko ni ya nani? Ilitoka kwa nani? Si ilitoka kwa Umingo? Ile pastora alitoroka akawacha chini. Wakati amekwisha chapa risasi, anataka kupiga hao vijana, marisasi ikaisha. Mungu akasaidia hawa vijana. Mtu unakuja kwa mkutano. Wapi mimi pastora yangu? Unakuja kwa mkutano kuona raia waliokuchagua, alafu unakwenda huko na pastora. Raia ni adui yako. Be careful. That's why you always find me. Because I've watched you, the press. Nimewaangalia nyinyi out to the press. And that's why I don't address you. I don't hold press conferences. Because I know you are biased. Mumechukua laini fulani. You are against this government. Kwa ukabila yenu, endelea na ukabila yenu.
All right, from the archives there, Simon Rechai firing on all cylinders. You can see his nose is flaring there with fulminating with anger, and of course taking the fourth estate on that particular dragging on the road, so to speak, that the media isn't biased, or is biased according to him. And of course we should be working with the devil, Dan Mazo. You see what really happens when they're in the podium.
Yes. Yeah, politician.
You can remember that particular moment. What really blew his gasket?
You know, that was, you remember we were in those days, you remember first of all, the Narca days in the 202. And then there was a lot of expectation that Honorable Nyachai was going to be the compromise candidate. But then Honorable Raila Odinga.
This was it.
Then later on, now when ODM was formed in 2007. And there was an election, coming in, and there had been that history of betrayal by ODM leader at 2002 imagined. Now, now this was the 2007 elections, and you could see how rough it could get, going for the votes. You could see, and that now tells you why Arati is in trouble. Because Kisii is not easy. When Kisii says no to something, it is united. And currently the economics, problems, and the possible political differences, rings back to the history. Kisii gets very united when it comes to a cause. And Honorable Nyachai, really those days, had a very big following. I remember when he invited for president in 2002, Kisii was a no-go zone. It was very tough. And he had his party, and he really got quite some, votes. You see, Nyachai has a history of having been all over Kenya as an administrator and understood the country very well. Was extremely brilliant in a lot of things. And is a strong man of Kisii who that community has a history with. He was also an entrepreneur, and he knew how to deal with the public. You see, a lot of people don't make up that decision. You can never carry a gun to the people, or try to use a gun to many people. In fact, it is not easy to shoot somebody at once. You must be very good. That's why you hear he's talking about of a pistol whose barrier has been exhausted, and the politician had to drop it and run. You never, attack the people. The people are not your enemy as a politician. No need to carry a gun to a political rally. And it comes out very well, and
all right.
He's a man we remember very well, and we are proud of as politicians.
So when he talks about the betrayal as well, you are one person also who expressed the betrayal of ODM. And you walked away with a certificate.
Not exactly. What happened is
you walked away with a certificate, unbeknownst to many. Yeah, you just disappeared.
I had registered it for everybody.
History has it.
Yeah, I had registered the party, the Orange Party, for everybody when they were unable to register it. And the problem was the appointment of a presidential candidate. And therefore, when they were unable to agree, and we even went to court, and the courts cleared me. I remember I was taken to court by Tiende Amoro and Kajuang and others. And when we appeared before Justice Aluoch, and I won the case. And therefore, according to her, I was the registered chairman. And therefore, I had the freedom to nominate the presidential candidate. That was...
that was a skip.
You know, that's
you can remember that.
I was actually still in the executive. I think I was a PS at that time. And that's when I first heard of him, that somebody called Dan Manzo ran away with the ODM. And often as it is, these parties are actually registered in somebody's name. Somebody you generally don't know. I don't know what the strategy is. So when things come to the heat, that's when you really know who the owner of the party is. Isn't the thing of NDP, yes. That guy with big hair. Many people didn't know who he was. But when the cracks came, then you know. So that Manzo was that person. So, but that thing of Nyachai, one could understand his anger because 2002, it was actually Nyachai was the most likely compromise candidate. They moved around the country and came to Nyanza in Kisumu with Honorable Raila, and it looks like that was it. Kibaki was not in the scene. Everybody knew that he had a party known as DP. If you asked Kenyans that, I think was it August or October, as late as that, in the year of the election, nobody would have told you that the most likely candidate is Kibaki. But I know what happened. I was watching, I had interest, but I wasn't in politics. That I think at one time, the leaders were at Intercontinental, and the people surrounded the hotel and said, "You are not leaving this place without telling us who the candidate is." They were like kind of besieged. And the country was wondering what is going to happen. In the afternoon, bang, Kibaki Tosha. I think Nyachai must have taken it very hard. So when I see him that, somebody then annoys him in a rally. You know, when you, in people's psychology and emotions, a small thing makes somebody very angry and you can't understand. It is a let-off for what is from the past. He's putting it all together and saying, this is it, it's a spark. So I could understand him. And I don't know, really he was the king, or the kingpin in Kisii. Right now, maybe it's in Arati, but he hasn't reached the level of Nyachai in Kisii. So maybe the system is looking at how do we handle this guy. And when you are dealing with the border and you are dealing with the cooperatives or women, politically, that is very powerful. And when your base is there, people in power who may not want you to get ahead, they start to look at that. Border, they'll tell you during elections, anybody who controls border in an election has had it. Because the impression, and you know politics perception, the impression they create when you arrive, even just 200 border riders with vuvuzelas, and if after that, if you go to voting, the people who vote in a large numbers are women. And normally women also don't go by what you see in the crowd about women. Women are more down to earth on things that matter to them. They're the people who will take your money and smile and everything, but where they're going to vote, they know. So if somebody is getting into things like cooperative, giving money in their hands, you give 200 shillings to a woman, it makes a big difference in the family. You give 200 shillings to a man, it probably goes to some other drink. Well, it may eventually land in the mouths of other children, but not the children of this home. So I can only say that there's something about Arati in this case, and the power base he's building, just like he did in Dagoretti. And now that you brought in Achai, maybe people are saying, this is the guy we have to control. If he's not with us, then he must not be powerful.
Let's hear from Tabitha. Good morning, Tabitha. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dibal. It's been quite some.
Yeah, you don't know where to start. You can begin with the UDA, coming to Arati, then you come to the because that's where you were yesterday. Yes.
Yes. Actually, when we communicated, that's where I was, and as you know, as a party, we are planning for the grassroots elections. I'm actually a candidate in Nairobi for the deputy chair. Okay. Of Honorable Gakuya, who's also vying for the chairmanship Nairobi. So like any leader and representing Nairobi, so I had my team at the headquarter offices, ensuring that we've done registration and also supporting those who had a few challenges here and there, so is to ensure we have our people on in one basket. As you know, I'm also the leader of the Kamba delegation in Nairobi, so as a senior most leader, definitely I have to lead my people. So that's what I was doing yesterday as far as UDA is concerned. And the UDA is very much intact. We are in order and we are running our business very well. So I'm happy because even at this time, the party has given us as women opportunities to be able to ensure that we are in the structure of the party, from the grassroots, the ward level to the constituency level, and then to the county level. So we are good, we are running, we are shaping.
Yeah,
we're going to be bigger.
Sure also your agents are there on the ground.
Exactly, and we are going to be bigger, we are growing. We've moved to other different counties, especially the opposition counties, and we've been able to marshal and bring in more members. Actually, with the new data is that we've increased our membership, even in Kisumu, in Homa Bay, in all these opposition counties, and I'm happy because, as you see, the president promised Kenyans that he's a president for all Kenyans. We've seen visibly that he's been moving to different counties and offering services that are needed, because every Kenyan pays taxes and every Kenyan is eligible for good services from this government. So in that, we've also kept on winning, and we are happy, and we are growing. Come 2027, I believe it will be much more smooth, but we are still open for more members to continue coming in. All said, back to the issues that were on air in regards to the issues of Kisii. But let me start by saying, being a president is it's a position that sometimes it's just a pity, and it's a pity because I look at everything in this country that does not please our counterparts. It's all directed to one man in this country, none other than Dr. William. When there is something happening, even when the issue of the El Nino, it's like he's the one who was to bring the rain, you know. Even on the issue of Simba Arati today as we speak, it's like he's the one who has to monitor each and every governor everywhere and actioning A, B, C, D. And just on the Kisii issue, like any county, Kisii has different leaders, both in government, both in the opposition. And the leaders are always fighting. Leaders are always seeking for supremacy in one way or the other. So when they say that, Kenya Kwanza sending GSU to intimidate, we have serious business to do. We have serious issues to be able to focus on, not concentrating on one governor who was elected by the people of Kisii and who is there executing his mandate. So the issue of trying to say that it's an intimidation because he's coming up, he's becoming... I mean, Simba Arati has worked very well with the president. Most of the functions that have been in Kisii, Simba Arati has been there. He has been there, and he has stated categorically that you are Dr. William, you are the president. I will work with you so as to ensure we get development wholesomely for the people who elected me in Kisii. Those has been his sentiments, because he looks at ensuring that he covers widely from a national perspective to his county. Being the county boss, he ensures that. Number two, the mention of the boda, the mamamboga and all that. The question of, it's like it's semi-negative, like since he's supporting the boda guys. But why don't we look at it from the other point and ask then, if the boda people have raised concerns, or who are people that we very much respect, you know how hardworking they are, and boda groups are very powerful, because eventually they come up with very big projects, and actually they really hustle even to earn and to acquire those assets, the bikes, in terms of what we've seen, microfinancing, ensuring that you have to ensure you do business so as to pay for your insurance, to pay for the same bike through the loan that you've taken from the microfinance, to be able to service the same bike, and to be able to ensure you still feed your family and do your own personal development. It's a really a very hardworking industry. So when there are concerns definitely raised by these people because of the love and the support that even us as Kenya Kwanza we have for the boda, definitely there will be a concern, you know, and since this security is within the confines of Kisii County, they will be able to respond and get to understand, is there an issue? Because the county boss has clearly stated that these were the concerns. And I've had my good learned colleague, Wakili Maanzo, saying that, Simba Arati is a strong man, he does not even need to go here with his lawyers. I think I don't know if I'm the only Kenyan who has different screens and watches different stations. Because yesterday I saw on the other station, the lawyer for Simba Arati speaking, you know, very agitated. And then you wonder, because I actually wondered, because Simba Arati had gone to the county commission, to the DCI offices actually in Kisii, presented himself and asked, what is the problem? I've seen GSU. They said, no, there's no problem. Those GSUs are relaxing there. That was the explanation. So he presented to himself. So, and the Wakili says that, you know, he didn't need a lawyer. The lawyer was there. So then why the worry if you've been told these are Kenyans, like any other. You've not been blocked to go to your office. Nothing has been interfered. Why are you worried? Continue working. If actually I was in shoes, I will just walk candidly to my desk, to my office, work within my schedule, move to the next destination, and everything continues, because there was no fight, there was nothing.
Without raising an eyebrow?
Sorry?
Without raising an eyebrow? That you have a contingent of, GSU?
No, I will make a call. I will make a call. I have the call. I'll just make a call and ask. I'll say A, B, C, D, and then this will be explained. And I think I'll be contented without making too much of a fuss. If I'm a real, you know, a fighter and all that, the way we've seen Simba Arati, that is not something that should have really, if I was in, that would have really a big deal. I mean, that should be something just minor to him, because he has made a call. It has been clarified. He has not been blocked from going to his office, and now. As I always say it, I sit in finance and budget, and I've had my colleagues talk about Simba Arati's hardworking and all that. Yeah, he is. I don't dispute, especially being a Nairobi member of parliament or in any leadership and all that. This is a space that is, very rapid all the time, 24 hours. So being being a governor, I mean, in terms of hard working, there's no problem. He works very hard, because we've seen him even at night getting into hospitals and checking how everything is running. That is fine. But we still have concerns in matters of oversight, whereby we still have cases on pending bills in these counties. And we are getting more concerned as Senate, because we are lobbying for more funds to be disbursed to these counties. We are lobbying for timely disbursement of the same funds. But I can tell you, we are now getting into another, I don't know to call it a devil, I don't know what to call it, because this issue of pending bills is getting to a sad situation. Money is not even circulated. There's no rotation. And it is bringing challenges because you find that even as at now at financial year 22-23, which is the new financial year for the governors who came in 2022, they have now again gotten into what we call pending bills. Apart from the previous pending bills and all that, what we need to see governors championing is not to rant over just because you've seen GSU. I would actually brag and say, whoa, I've become a kingpin and I have even maximum security. I would even change the narrative and say, you know, I'm given that massive security and all that because I'm not a small person. And then to focus on why do we have pending bills in Kisii County? Why are women and suppliers crying at our bunge doors, especially in Senate, and demanding their voices to be heard on the issues of pending bills in this country, where people have done supplies. I think before we went on recess, I had a privilege to look at the report that came aboard, and we said now we need to now summon the governor, the auditor general, and all that team to be able to explain as to why some of the suppliers we are seeing two suppliers, different payments that are being done at different times. What is happening? We have list of people who are today still crying. We've had committees called the Pending Bills Committee. Why is it then they have not concluded or finished so as to tell the same suppliers, excuse me, this one, there was an issue, or this is genuine, this is not genuine. This one we are going to pay within these times, or we are not going to pay. Kenyans are suffering. So as a leader, I don't see why you should go ranting here and there on these small matters here and there. Number two, as I said, we have people both from the government side and from the opposition side, of course in the same county. And apparently, as you know, all positions, even the positions that we have today, even if today Dibal I'm nominated, there's somebody who also wants the same next time. Maanzo seat, there's somebody who wants to be senator for Makueni, is always having opponents. Same case to Daktari, same case to governor. So opponents are there. So politically, things will be twisted to make it sound that now William Ruto is the one getting, you know, how can a whole president, for Christ in this country, be intimidated or by a governor, more so from an opposition side? He has no much business. What he needs is the people who will vote for him at the presidential level, because the people of Kisii made their decisions, which we respect. And that is why when the president has moved to Kisii, he has worked with all the Kisii leaders. He has not locked anybody out. The doors have been open. Whoever has been willing, and we've seen Simba Arati seated there and working closely for the development. I would urge him, focus on development, focus on reducing the pending bills that you have. That is very, very important. I think the other issue is on the El Nino a bit. Dibal, you know, when we keep on hearing, the same issue of, oh, we say there will be El Nino. I mean, Dr. William is not the meteorologist. He gets reports. For Christ's sake, he's the president. Right. And the report came about. Yes, there are budgets that have been set out. A clear indication that we were prepared for El Nino. That is positive. That is very possible. And mark you, I've come and it is raining. Today it's beautifully raining. God has given us rain. What we should be encouraging Kenyans as a whole is to stop politicking and tell them, let us focus on agriculture. Agriculture is a very impactful and economic area that we should be able to advance. The cost of fertilizer has been reduced, as you know. When we came to this government, it was 7,000. As at now, it's rotating at 2.5. The raw material. Let me finish. I'm the only one from the government side, and you see, I have bullfighters here, a very serious one, senior ones,
we
which
want
we
you because
respectfully,
the other bullfighter from the
respectfully, I've given them all the time. I don't interfere with them completely. You know, I'm a lady. Yeah. I've given all the time to be able to have their input. And what I was simply trying to say, for Christ's sake, we have rain. It is raining as we speak. Let us encourage Kenyans in the different regions that they represent. The reason you touched on Rift Valley and said senators will do your put, of course, Rift Valley is one of the regions in terms of tea. Now, in terms of also maize, as you've been able to see, there's good productivity. And why? Because we've reduced even the cost of the raw materials, the cost of production in the sector of the agriculture. We have a database through the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that our farmers are assisted. I always talk about the bill that I have, and I know Manzo really supports me very well, something I appreciate in terms of the extension services and all that. So in a nutshell, the rains are here. Let us stop blaming William Ruto on terms of, can we focus on, or as leaders, as elected leaders in this country, on matters development, and we move away from the politics factor of everything William, everything William, everything William. Even when there is no rain, William. Today there is rain. Now, what are they going to say? What are we going to talk about?
Okay.
William was bro.
All right. I just don't want to lie on as the whole issue of Simba Arati as well to be the main focus of our discussion, because there are bigger issues that we can actually talk to, and you said that is still some small issues as well. But I want just to raise the question, or especially that we have the ranking of the counties, and just to get the reactions first of all on how they're performing. We can see Uasin Gishu County and other counties followed in the Rift Valley. If we may just pick up that we had the Daily Nation listing this, and we ran you by that particular story as well. So far, just to give us an indication of the state of the counties, you know, we're speaking about Simba Arati. I'm looking at Makueni. Where is Makueni in this list? We have the top Makueni is number 17 at 51%. Top counties overall. Are you happy with that particular listing? Makueni at 51%. We have Uasin Gishu leading there with 63%.
I've seen a report of 53, so I'm wondering how come now.
Which report is there? This is maybe on other, because the way they have been classified. So Makueni is here, number 17, as you can see it. Maybe highlight that.
That is the usual number.
Makueni
is usually
you're tying with Kwale, Kakamega, also with Vihiga. And when it comes to agriculture, let's just begin with education. You're nowhere there to be seen. When it comes to agriculture, you're nowhere to be seen as well. When looking at the roads, Makueni is nowhere. And also culture and sports, you are nowhere as well. But you are number 51 nonetheless. Maybe the metrics that they're not exhaustively listed here. But just to comment on this, reported by InfoTrack, you're happy with the way the survey has been carried out, or you're raising hesitations somewhat with how it has been carried out? Just to react to it.
Well, United depends on a lot of things when it comes to survey. First of all, the approach. Sometimes the way the people who conduct the survey approach a citizen. You see, a citizen is not sure who they are talking to. Sometimes they are talking to a stranger, and they may not give you exact information. I'm surprised and pleasantly so that this has gone to the county of the president and the surrounding counties. You see also the advantages in terms of the releasing of the monies. You know, earlier on in the year, there were counties which got their monies released and others got delayed. But I believe in Makueni we're picking up, you know, from the past. We've had a very tricky past. Although Professor Kibwana tried his level best with the health and other issues, he used to be leading in the charts those days. There were many other messes which are still being dealt with by the Senate today. And I believe Governor Mutula, who has been a senator and is familiar with all the loopholes, is going to recover all the messes of the past. He's only been in the office for 1 year, and he's going to recover most of the things. I know there are troubles with agriculture, with water, with dams. There are certain challenges which owe to the past. You know, some of the dams which were developed for agriculture and never served any purpose. But most important, when we are through with the Thwake Dam, it's all that it has been delayed by release of finances. The moment we are through with the Thwake Dam, we really want to irrigate most parts of Makueni through even gravity. Kibwezi will get water, and very rich land, very hard-working people. And I believe the support, the national government support through damming Thwake Dam and making sure that the river is cleaned from Nairobi through Machakos downwards, so that we don't end up with dirty water there. We have a bright future in terms of agriculture. But I must admit there has been messes in the past, especially the first and second county governments of Makueni. There were a lot of things which didn't go the right way, especially with water, agriculture, and all those things. We look forward to a bright future. So things may not, we may be rated at 51, 53% right now, but if funds are released in good time to Makueni, other than the releases of announcements, and when you go to Makueni, you find there are delays, the funds haven't yet reached the county. Yet the national government has announced we have released monies to counties. And then you find Uasin Gishu has gotten priority. It's like Treasury first clears certain counties and keep others dead. And I really want to agree with the issue of pendy bills. It is such a mess to all the counties and also to the national government. The government must come up with a way of clearing the pendy bills because they hold the county at ransom. And some of these are very, very old bills. Some of them even are fraudulent claims. Gangster, contractors who are claiming monies on things you can't see. And some of them have gone to court. There are other contractors who did a good job. And you can see the good job and they've never been paid for. So the interaction between contractors and government should be such that as soon as you are through with your work, you are promptly paid, so that you can also develop yourself at a personal level and develop the country. But when you hold monies belonging to contractors, the county can never move. One of the biggest challenges in Makueni County is wildlife-human conflict. We have some conservationists who are already resident in Makueni or neighborhood, and they are not properly licensed, and they are not even properly taking care of these elephants, which cross over and destroy the farms of very hard-working farmers, kill people, maim people. The payments are never forthcoming. The wiring has delayed and delayed and delayed. Those are some of the things which are taking Makueni back. But I believe the current governor will take up the challenge. It is very difficult, to deal with the roads, to deal with agriculture without water.
Thank you.
We look forward to a brilliant future.
All right.
And I'm going to do my level best to make sure the monies arrive in Makueni in good time.
So have you noticed that, lamentably, we've been decrying the issue of pending bills for the last almost 2 good years?
Yes.
And every time we come on the set or other podiums as well, it's the same narrative. So aside from lamenting and speaking about it, what is happening? What is some of the decisive action that has been taken on the ground, even with the Senate, to try and address this issue? I know there is a bill that is there regarding the pending bills, and that is just moving forward. But now we have a festering problem. There's a festering wood. There are people who are adversely affected by this. But all we hear is, there is pending bills. And the issue of pending bills has not been addressed. Many people are suffering. We even did a feature here on how we have the broke millionaires. Yeah. So there's so much happening around pending bills, yet it's like we're just treading waters. There's no decisive action. There's no discernible difference. This is the end of October with 31st today. Come November, we'll cross over to December. We'll pick up the same tab next year. Pending bills. Until when?
Just one issue.
Until when?
Just one issue before not only that, the private sector has suffered, both at the national level and at the county level. And I think the government should come up with a policy generally. Pay up your debts.
That's what I'm asking.
Why are you killing the private sector?
I know.
Because if you kill the private sector, you kill the country. People can't pay taxes.
You come to join me as a person who's now lamenting with other Kenyans. And I wonder, so how then do we help these Kenyans who are listening and they are affected by these pending bills? From January to January, you're still talking about pending bills. From 2020 until now, we're talking about pending. I mean, we need action.
But let me say this. Me, as we sit here, all the 3 things we have said, all the things we have discussed are dependent on one thing. The difference between governing and getting things done and politicking to get votes. You can get votes but you may not deliver services. So this is really where we are, and I want to tie all this, and then I'll come to pending bills.
No, I don't want it to be very abstract. Because I'm not going to be academical.
I'm not.
We need just to address these issues.
I'm going to be very practical, particularly on pending bills. Now, let's start with where we're saying that we are putting everything on the president. My colleague here, the senator, raised that. It is the governance style. If you actually, as a politician, always want the limelight and everything you go touch, what the administrators, the people who actually get things done do, they fold up their hands and they leave it to you. So that everything that comes now, they would even refer it because they don't know if they do it, what you are going to do yourself. It's an issue of governance. When you come to the issue of pending bills, that goes across not just this regime but others. It is actually the process of how the money is released, the money is dispersed, and contracting is done. Let me say, I think now the biggest issue with pending bills is actually the release of money to the counties. The exchequer release, because you get a budget and you know this is what is in my budget. You now start to implement, you go to do contracts because the money is in your budget, it will come. Then the contractors go on and do their work, but the exchequer is not released. So what are they going to pay with? They can't pay. Another thing is also when you have done the work has been done and you are making payments, and if you did very many contracts at the same time, now you have to prioritize which one are you going to pay. That is another. The other one is if also you delay, so that by the time the year ends, the work has not been completed, you cannot pay. So that is, again, that is becoming a pending bill. And now let me focus on the pending bills. I saw in the Kibaki administration what was done, and it has been done, but I don't think it has been followed the same way, is you actually put these committees of the pending bills. You prioritize which are pending bills. You even check which are really genuine bills. Then you actually go and pay them. Then from then on, what the people are supposed to do, the AIE holders, what they're supposed to do, whether they are PSS, whether they are at county level, the people who hold the money, are to make sure that you know what money is likely to come, and when you do your contracts, you do with that in mind. Then it brings us to a third thing that we are talking about. It then comes to ranking. Now, you must have some performance measurement. So if you are having a performance measurement, then you even have a performance contract at some level and say, this we will do in this time, this we will do in this time. Then when you start your projects and advertise them and contracts are done, you follow and you know by this time this should be done. And even the people who release the budget, the money, even KRA that actually collects must have a performance contract and must have a plan. All these things are tied so that when the KRA is meeting their targets, definitely the money is coming. The person releasing the budget must meet their targets. And the people, whether they're ministries or counties, that are actually have their targets. So this then it will work. But if people are working in a disjointed way, so that each person is doing their own things. I remember one thing I saw in Kibaki government, that what gets measured gets done. So this ranking, again, it will come to that. Okay, I know people who do this info track normally do a good job, but I would have been happier if I'd say the Council of Governors level or at the level of ministries, there is actual performance contracted and performance tracking and measurement, so that if you are doing a performance contracting, when you start the year, you have your plan. What is your annual plan? What are you going to do? When is the money coming? So if the money is late, you start by saying, KRA, where is the money? because these people will not work if there is no money. So all these things, in my view, you will say this is abstract, is there's a time that as with politics, we must move a little and put the technical people, PSS and ministers to a little extent, but PSS and below, and the county level those, and track what they are doing. But if we're just looking for votes all the time and we are not tracking whether these things are being done, nothing happens. So that's why I was saying, all the things we have said are tied to one thing. Do we have governance structures that are actually technical? The world is technical. Politics can just guide it, but the actual thing must be done by people who you don't even see. When those people don't work, you see, like, okay, it's good that we see the president handing in the papers, but me, I'm normally more keen the person who actually worked behind and made sure that at 8 o'clock in the morning on the exam day, the paper is in Elgeyo Marakwet. Now, if that guy is not doing the work, and there'll be many, including the security guys. So to me, all these things we are saying, we must just distinguish. Now it is politicking, now it is working. When it is coming to work, President Kibaki, he was surprised people, he even had a bad nickname, General Kagwaya, that he was a coward, General Coward, before he became the president. People were surprised when he came.
Right.
Now, even when it's rained, there was very little talking. There were times people didn't even see him. But things happened because there are people who do things. So politics is overriding actual work at technical level. And I think that is where all this, if you told me pending bills, you asked me what to do, I've told you, we must track money, where it is collected, if it has been collected.
Thank you.
Has it been released?
All right.
If it has been released, have you tied the money to the project?
We'll take a short break, and when we also circle back, we will interrogate some of the issues that are actually happening also within this particular counties. We've seen recently Governor Kawira purportedly being arrested because she's donating cows in that particular area of Meru County, and other governors, maybe included also from where we were just discussing the issue in Kisii as well. They are doing the same, going house to house, and people and the Senate should actually be questioning: is it a way of if you're donating cows, to household, what does it really portend for you as a governor? Because that should be like a very, well-framed sort of operation that everyone is supposed to benefit. So how then do you draw a dichotomy that you're not campaigning, right, using the government resources or the county government resources, and you're actually doing your work as a governor? Where is the thin line when it comes to that as well? Because I expected also the senators will have raised questions on this, where people are going door to door, sort of donating or issuing dignity kits, so to speak, in these hard times that we are living in, especially with the counties bearing the brunt of it as well. We'll take a short break. When we circle back as well, we'll look at the new study from the Kenya National Population Council that's come up with a report where people are fearing getting old, and they're saying the older Kenyans get, the more they fear aging. And this is, of course, to the unknown. Well, they always say that life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. When we circle back, we shall be looking at that as well. We'll take a short break.